Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Crypto Insider channel. I am the Crypto Insider, back with another cryptocurrency video for you. Today is March. The time just flies when you're in isolation. Today is May 19th, 2020. And we're still in the midst of the coronavirus, recording from the wild and wonderful city of Austin, Texas. It is just me and the Crypto Insider mascot, Ziggy the Black Labrador. We're just taking it as it comes and making our cryptocurrency videos when we can. I'm amazed at how busy I have been in quarantine. So I'm trying to get all kinds of things done this week, all kinds of wonderful things. And I haven't been making quite as many videos as I normally do. So I apologize for that. In any case, before we jump into it, I'd like to say that I am not a certified financial planner, registered investment advisor, tax accountant, stockbroker, none of that stuff. I am just a guy on the internet talking about cryptocurrencies and cryptocurrency prices. I have worked in the fintech space for 17 years, though, and I do have a little background on not so much the cryptocurrencies, but some of the companies that are beginning to utilize and look at custodying them. Some of the big mainstays, the big Fortune 500s. Let's go ahead and jump in and look at what's going on with Live Coin Watch. Now, over the past 5 or 10 minutes, everything's kind of turned green, but just barely green. So this could all change. I could refresh the page and have all this 1 hour stuff go red. Bitcoin dominance, not significantly different from the last time we made a video, 67.54%. Market cap sitting at 263 billion. But you can look at these charts and see Bitcoin gaining its dominance, and I don't want to say more money flowing into the market as much as price increasing of coins. And you can see that on the charts. The first three cryptos are kind of mirroring Bitcoin, but here's where they started the week and here's where they ended it. So we do have some weekly gains, and we'll look at that at least for XRP in the next video here. Some of our mainstays are down over the 24 hours. Tezos links down, but they're only down 1%, or 0.22% in Tezos's case. They've had pretty decent weeks, pretty decent months. They're still holding value very well. I'm going to wonder, though, after the halvening, like I was saying, it usually takes couple of weeks anyway for any benefit from the halvening to start rearing its head. And I'm wondering if some of the people that may have had positions in some of these alts, especially Tether, I don't know where to go to see it, but I'd like to see if people are moving their Tether into Bitcoin. We have a few price predictions regarding XRP that kind of mirror each other, so we're going to talk about those too. From some of the analysts, excuse me. Let's go with our Coinalyze page for XRP, and we're just looking at over the last 5 minutes, 15 minutes, the trend sort of went green. We do have an overbought in one of the oscillators down there, but more importantly, looking at the table structure here, 30 days we're up 4%, 7 days we're up 5.88%. And the point I want to make about prices of cryptocurrency, and it's going to be pretty much the same no matter which crypto we look at, we're going to be up 7 days on the 7-day, on the 30-day. The point I want to make is we received that gain even without there being a resolution to the coronavirus or any uncertainty from the coronavirus. Now, you could argue philosophically that some of this benefit is precisely due to uncertainty with the coronavirus. Uh, but we did see that big dip in price on March 12th, Black Thursday or whatever, when there was, when the crypto market took a hit from the coronavirus. And there's been no real, I mean, there are people working on a vaccine and stuff, but there's been no cure or anything that's come out to significantly account for a price increase. So you may take that information and say, well, it's possible that when we do get a vaccine, the true price or the true potential of crypto will then come out even further, and we'll see a jump just like we would expect to see in the traditional stock markets. I don't know. It's something interesting to think about. We have a few stories today, and we'll get into the price of XRP in a moment. But I thought this was interesting. Someone hacked into the Archer supercomputer to mine cryptocurrency. This story by Anthony Garefa from tweaktown.com, which sounds like where the meth heads live. Uh, so I don't know if I'd name my site that, but basically, the story says it seems that some hackers got into the University of Edinburgh's Archer supercomputer, forcing administrators to recently shut it down and look into the attack. It's forced them to reset all SSH passwords too. So they got root access to the Archer supercomputer. This is what the article goes on to say. And installed an application that mines Monero. Uh, but what I have not been able to find, so I've clicked on a few links regarding this story, is I'm curious how much Monero the Archer supercomputer can mine um, in the time that it was compromised. How much, in other words, was this hack worth to whoever did it? Because I'm sure they just had the Monero instantly transferred to some wallet address, and it doesn't really give you the wallet address or how much Monero was able to be mined. And I wanted to point out this story because when we look at something like XRP, this attack, this whole setup is is impossible with a proof of stake coin. You can't mine you can't mine XRP. Now, perhaps there is a way for a supercomputer to start generating virtual machines and generate so many that they can set up so many validators that they can effectively do a 51% attack on the the ledger, but I don't even think that that's possible. I think there's more to becoming a validator than just saying I want to be a validator. And I think uh, I think the proof of consensus or whatever would catch that at some point. Saying, oh, we got 2 million validators that want to join the network, and everybody would vote no or whatever, however it works. I don't know exactly how that would work because I don't understand the technicals of the XRP ledger probably as much as I should. But I'm just saying it would be a much more difficult attack to do to something like XRP because XRP isn't mined. They were all generated at once. Um, so, maybe a security benefit here to XRP over some of the traditional Minecoin, especially as we get into supercomputers. Now, this is obviously Archer, this is a big one, but I think as we start getting into quantum computing, as more people start getting into it, we're going to see more of these types of attacks. So, and probably the older blockchains are going to be the hardest hit by those types of attacks. Things they didn't plan for supercomputers back in 2009 or quantum computing back when Bitcoin came onto the scene. So it'll be interesting to see how they safeguard some of those blockchains against quantum computing attacks. And I know that's a big subject for a lot of people that are tuned into the industry. Okay, so we have two price predictions I'm going to talk about here. The one from Magic Poop Cannon, which you got to love that name, from the technical analyst, is a possible 77 cents if we break the descending resistance here. And DIY Investing, Mr. Donovan Jolly, has a video out too, kind of confirming or kind of agreeing with Magic Poop Cannon here and showing the same level of descending resistance, but he thinks it's possible that by the end of the year, XRP could go higher than that, possibly up to $1. I've seen predictions of $2 by the end of the month. Actually by the end of May, which I don't think so. That's just such a huge return from where we are. But I don't think we're going to see $2 by the end of the month. I could be wrong though. XRP is a weird animal when it starts to go, and I know a lot of people are going, "Yeah, right. I've been buying this forever, and I've never really seen a jump." But if you look at this jump here, uh, it's so fast when it tends to go. It's like a slingshot or a coiled up spring. When there's a parabolic run and the exchanges can't keep up with the orders, uh, it happens very quickly. Usually over a window of hours. So if you're holding, or just hodl and hope for the best, basically. That's what I'm doing. Of course, we could fall out of this pattern and go down. He goes on to explain the chart in more detail than I'm going to here because it's his chart and I don't want to misspeak about it. I just wanted to point it out to you. If you want to uh, see this chart on your own, go to tradingview.com and search for what's his name here, Magic Poop Cannon. Yeah, it's here, and he's on Twitter as well. But yeah, I have two analysts saying that are bullish on XRP, saying that we could break out. And I don't have anyone really saying any much negative about XRP, except Bitcoin maxis. You can always find those. This next story comes from Cointelegraph by Michael Kapelkoff. Largest private investment bank in Latin America issues real estate tokens on Tezos. Banco BTC Pactual, the largest private investment bank in Latin America, is moving some of its real estate backed security tokens over to the Tezos blockchain. The bank is issuing its security tokens representing investment in real estate on the Tezos blockchain. Previously, it was on the Ethereum blockchain, raising 10 million in Ether and Gemini dollars. And the head, the head of digital assets told Cointelegraph that 5 million worth of REITs BC, that must have been their other coin, will be switched to Tezos, including the 2.5 million new raise that was conducted in fiat. The reason behind this diversification is that the bank wants to have its options open, as there is no way of telling which blockchain will prevail in the long run. That's very interesting to me because I don't understand how these banks do it. Like, if you wanted to buy $7.5 million, I think that's what the total is going to. Oh no, 5 million. If you wanted to buy $5 million worth of Tezos, you couldn't just log onto the Coinbase app and type in 5 million and buy it. So do they contact the exchanges directly? Do they contact the Tezos Foundation and try to get a deal since they're buying so much of it? And once they do buy it, can they stake it? So if you have 5 million worth of Tezos staked at 6%, that's a significant amount of money, just in staking rewards. Here's a quote from Andre Portillo. We don't want to be tied to just one blockchain because clearly I cannot tell which blockchain will prevail. which blockchain will prevail. We want to have other options, other blockchains that might serve better the pieces of tokenization and issuing tokens that represent real assets. Now, for some reason, these real estate groups really like Tezos. I don't know why. There's one in, I think there's a few in Europe that are doing the same thing. We've talked about this before on the channel, but it must have a real use case with real estate assets because these investment banks that deal with a lot of real estate are really liking Tezos. Um, the bank considered working with service providers like Securitize, but decided to do it themselves in order to learn the ins and outs of issuing digital securities. According to Portillo, the bank's ultimate goal in the undertaking is to reach the maximum potential clientele. At the bank, as a bank going into digital assets, we want to discover the best technological solution for us to be able to increase our potential audience for our products. So this is interesting, and I wonder um, if fees are better on Tezos. Maybe that's why they're moving from Ethereum, or they want to diversify. Diversify is probably the word they used at some point. But anyways, somebody buying $5 million worth of Tezos is a good thing, especially if you're holding Tezos. Let's see. This from the Daily Hodl. U.S. Financial Consumer Bureau says Ripple and XRP can deliver more transparency in the banking industry. Officials at the United States Consumer Financial Protection Bureau think Ripple and XRP have the potential to increase transparency in the remittance industry. A CFBP report, which focuses on international money transfers under the EFT Act, reveals that the agency has been tracking emerging developments in the remittance market, including the growth of digital asset companies like Ripple. It notes that XRP can be used to effect settlement of those transfers. To the degree banks and credit unions increase their reliance on closed network payment systems for sending remittance transfers and other cross-border money transfers, the Bureau notes that this could result in greater standardization and ease by which sending institutions can know exact covered third-party fees and exchange rates. Yeah. So, what this means is when we talk about third-party fees and exchange rates, settlement is kind of slow in the traditional system. The standard is probably, I would say, 2 to 5 days in your traditional banking world. But it can go out longer than that. It can go weeks or even over a month, depending. I mean, if you're sending money overseas to some backwater place in Mogadishu, um, the banks have to really work with the rails and the people around there to get the money where it's going, and that of course takes longer. The longer a transaction takes, even if it's only a day, the exchange rates can vary between currencies. So there is a possibility, and it has happened, where banks have lost money on doing cross-border payments because the exchange rates changed and the cost, or the price of the currency uh, was volatile. And you say, well, isn't crypto volatile? Isn't all these aren't all these digital tokens volatile? Yes, they are, but they're not volatile over a 10-second span that it takes to settle it. If you look at the price of XRP 10 seconds ago, it's pretty much what it is now. And so, while you may um, while you may lose, 0.005 cents or something like that, it's not nearly as much as it would be on a traditional currency transfer, where the exchange rate really changed in favor of the sending party rather, or receiving party rather than the sending party, which is the bank. So it's interesting anytime that we see an official docket, an official bureau recommend Ripple and XRP. I'm probably going to go read the whole report. I didn't want to do that in this video because I'm sure it is exciting, edge of your seat stuff. Now, I don't have the Twitter up. Usually I have the Twitter that shows the amount of XRP we sent to @GoodXRP for the new subscribers. But we sent 5 XRP to @GoodXRP, and we did not get that confirmation tweet yet. So sometimes it's slow, sometimes it doesn't come at all. But we did send 5 XRP to @GoodXRP for each new member or subscriber to the channel. When you subscribe to the Crypto Insider channel, I have to find out what that noise is. It's going to drive me crazy. When you subscribe, we do send a small amount of XRP to @GoodXRP on your behalf. We will continue to do so as long as we keep making videos. So we look forward to seeing you back at the channel, and hope that you'll refer somebody into cryptocurrency to the channel. It's the end of the video. I've been hearing the music. We're going to pop up some additional videos for you to click on and continue your Crypto Insider journey. I will be back, just like the Terminator.